Hey everyone, welcome to Zeitgeist Zealots. I'm Forrest.
I'm Major.
I'm Robbie.
And today we're going to talk about the season finale of Ahsoka.
Series finale?
Maybe. Hopefully.
Cross your lightsabers.
Thrawn willing.
But what about Thrawn?
He's going to be in like every other Star Wars show in the next 5 years. So,
Yeah.
So Ahsoka,
conquer the galaxy.
Actually, no, first off, I just wanted to welcome everyone to our very diverse and inclusive podcast, where today we're not only including Ahsoka, but also Gen V. Welcome to the Academy of Woke.
Sponsored by Brave Maeve.
Sponsored by Turbo Drink. What was A Train drink? Turbo juice.
The blood of the main character's girlfriend.
I think he got it in his mouth.
He got a little bit of it in his mouth.
She's going to be on the new Frasier reboot, or not reboot, but like continuation.
Stop.
I saw her like on the trailer.
That's right. They are doing Frasier, dude. Just kill me. I found out like,
but Niles isn't going to be in it for some reason.
What about the dog? I'm kidding. That dog died.
The dog's. I think his dad's dead. If the actor playing his dad is dead, the dog is definitely dead.
Yeah. You know what they're going to do? They're going to leave that chair, the dad's chair, and it's just going to be empty. And
they're going to call it.
And I'm going to love this show, and it's going to be great. And then one day, my dad's going to die, and every time I watch this show, I'm just going to cry at that chair.
They're going to call it Frasier.
Oh, speaking of dads and crying when we're gone.
Funny.
Shut the fuck up. I just want to give a beautiful shout out to my absolutely wonderful daughter. She turned 1 month today.
Woo.
If you're listening, honey, go to bed. I'm fucking kidding.
If you're listening to this 20 years from now,
she'll never get that because she won't know what award shows are because they'll be gone by then. But yeah,
honey, there will be no podcast in the future
for the terrible shit I'm about to say coming up.
There will be no podcast in the future, only pod people. Let's talk about Ahsoka first, and we'll get to Gen V. I only saw the first episode and I think half the second one, but we'll discuss.
What? How could you stop? How could you put down?
Because it was so boring.
Gen W.
You were going to invade Iraq. Gen W.
That's a mission accomplished. At the end, it's just like mission Homelander. He's got the mission accomplished banner behind him.
Fool me once.
Blow me up once. Can't blow me up again.
Can't blow me up again. Okay, so Ahsoka.
Ahsoka really lived up to its name. You did not have to have the Force to be able to predict what was coming in this shitty, terrible finale. And I want to call out, I'm not going to because I love them, right? But I want all these hardcore Star Wars fans, like these huge YouTube channels, to take a step back and stop sucking on Dave Filoni's dick. Sorry, sweetheart. Because this was trash, and everyone is soaking up Ahsoka, and they're just talking like this is like the best 8 hours of Star Wars history. No, it's not. This was like amazing. There was like 45 great minutes. You could have made an amazing 2-hour movie out of this, but you pushed for an 8-hour slog of a Ahsoka, and this was stupid. I hated it. There were some really great scenes, but
yeah.
Overall, no. Thumbs down. Did not like.
I think this series was way better than Mandalorian season 3. Definitely.
I also enjoyed this more than getting my foot shot off. I agree with that.
Yeah, that's true. It was more pleasurable than Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yes.
And what was the other Star Wars show that no one cares about?
Boba Fett. Oh, Boba Fett and Andor.
Boba Fett,
all of them. Dude, no one cares about anything. Speaking of, guys, stick around. Make sure to like and subscribe for the podcast because we are going to cover Loki Season 2 coming out this week. So we'll drop
tomorrow,
so we'll drop a podcast. We wanted to get this out to you ASAP for the Ahsoka haters out there, but don't you worry, guys. We're going to be shape-shifting into Loki next week.
Yeah, I know. Obviously Disney Plus knew that we were going to run out of content once Ahsoka wrapped up, so they decided they were very nice, and they decided to premiere Loki right after Ahsoka finished up.
Is it going to be just one episode?
Yeah, one episode a week. It's not Netflix.
Instead of the drop 3.
And Netflix is probably going to steal that model too, because Netflix already has ads, and I'm pretty sure Netflix is probably going to go to the 1 episode a week model.
But eventually. No, on top of that, they do the dirtiest thing where they cut up a season in half.
Oh, like not Stranger Things.
No, like Stranger Things. Stranger Things season 5 part 1, season 5 part 2, and they do it on some other like really popular stuff. They did it on like a crime documentary series I was watching with my wife. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but it was like we were watching it and it's like cliffhanger, and it's like part 2 coming in 2 months, and I was like, guys, if you want $20, I'll give you $20. Well, I just want to find out what happens to the murder here.
I think He-Man. I think the new He-Man cartoon tried to pull that stunt, and then everyone hated the first half. No one bothered to watch second half.
Did you lose respect? Did you lose respect for Kevin Smith that day? Because I did. Not to be wokest, whatever. He-Man, she-man, I don't give a fuck, man. Right? Because he did not respect the lore so much. So like that's why I really care. Like, do a spinoff if you love He-Man and you have this idea of like, like you were jerking off in the shower for 20 years about He-Man and all of his side characters, and like you want to do this spinoff, then do that. And I think that's wonderful. But if you're like, hey man, like I am the king of the nerds and I love He-Man, and then in the first episode I'm just gonna kill him off.
Kill him.
Like fuck you, bro.
He's gonna be non-man.
You can you keep that writing up and you'll be a clerk in no time.
It's Matt.
Also, shout out to, I think we said this last week, but if we didn't, shout out to all the writers on getting your contracts. The writer strike's over.
Yep.
I know. Yay. Jimmy Kimmel Live's back.
Oh, yeah.
John Oliver is back on Sunday.
Hey.
Wow, dude. I gotta shout out to Bill Maher. Dude, so Bill Maher, before the strike ended.
Fuck Bill Maher.
Hold on. Bill Maher, before the strike ended, said, guys, I understand the strike. I'm a writer. I stand with my writers, but there is a big production crew behind this show. They need to get paid. We're going back to work. And then he had a bunch of like pushback, him and Drew Barrymore. And then he was like, oh, actually, guys, I heard the strike's almost over. So actually, I'm going to stand with the writers again. And that's just what I hate. It's like, dude, Bill Maher, you had one job, right? Just be different, right? Just be yourself. Stick it to the man. Don't succumb to liberal bullshit. And he folded like a paper plate.
So did
however,
the guy who played.
He had a fantastic first episode back with Ron DeSantis. I thought that was an excellent interview. What's up, Matt? How you doing, brother?
You cracking open a beer?
Oh yeah.
Is it the Barbarian Brew?
Nope, we don't have that yet.
Is it coming later this year?
It's coming in like 2-3 weeks, I think.
Okay, I'm gonna have to take a trip to Devil's Logic. All right, so we just started getting into Ahsoka.
Hey guys, if you are internet sleuths and you want to find out where Forrest lives, comment on our X, formerly known as Twitter, as the Zealots podcast. That's plural, guys.
With an S.
Yeah, with an S. And let him know that you know exactly where he lives, thanks to dropping that bar location.
Did anyone draw the Jump the Cocaine Shark doodle for the T-shirt yet?
Yes, we had 1,000 entries. All of them were AI generated, guys,
and they were all terrible. All rejected. So,
why?
We're not going to do it.
No, yeah. 98% of them had penises. I did not realize that was such a prominent feature on a shark. So we're gonna pause this idea.
We're gonna need a bigger condom.
We're gonna need a bigger condom. God damn it, Forrest. All right, we're moving on.
So
Matt, we're just giving overall thoughts on Ahsoka before we tear the finale to shreds.
That would be my thought.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, Matt. Oh, Matt, I didn't know you were one of the writers on Ahsoka. Rob, what were your thoughts on it while Matt recovers from this aneurysm?
Yeah, like you guys were saying earlier, some cool scenes in it. But overall,
can I maybe say one thing? I think my opinion would be totally different if Ray Stevenson was alive. God rest his soul. Yeah. But like, dude, I think if Ray Stevenson was alive, I think it should be one of the greatest cliffhangers of all time, and I'd be so fucking pumped for it, right? standing
Well-
on the statue of the father. And
Yeah, was he in Middle
Mortis.
Earth at the end?
Yeah, pretty much, right?
Looking at
looking at Mount Doom over there. All right, can I just say that this entire Dave Filoni might not have any writing skills. This in the last episode
Agreed.
was look, a little bit of here, a little bit of here, a little bit of here, a little bit of here. There's zero originality. Okay, like the last scene, Lord of the Rings, right? What was the episode called? It was a ripoff of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Oh yeah, the Jedi.
Yeah,
the witch,
Jedi, witch,
Yeah,
and
the blue dude,
and the warlord. Yeah, so
and
like
the Blue Man Group.
and then like there's like every major scene that you see in this movie has an homage to another movie that Dave Filoni loved growing up. And like I get it to a certain degree. Like if I was going to be a movie director, as a content creator myself, I love to include Easter eggs and homages as to made me who I am, but not in a fucking season finale, bro.
So there's a way to do it, and there's a way to not do it. This is definitely the way to not to do it.
This is not the way.
Once again, I don't know,
this is not the way.
I will say this because
Like
I
and
confused the two. I confused the two: Book of Boba Fett or The Mandalorian season 2, or whatever one it was. But
Season
when
3.
you had Cad Bane walking in the desert towards the town, it is an homage to so many westerns, and it is so well done. You know what I mean? Whereas this was like in your face. Hey, do you see Lord of the Rings? Lord of the Rings? Tolkien? I love Tolkien. Like, do you see it? Do you see it?
Hey, nerds, you get this, right? Nerds, you get this too, don't you?
Or
Can I shout out?
even with to a lesser extent too, some of Ahsoka's training is an homage to some of the early Japanese samurai movies.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Well, the aliens
very subtle.
are basically samurais anyway.
But that's the
They're wearing
thing.
Samurai garb.
Then you have the samurai guys, and that's just like way in your face. There's like a subtle way to do it, and then there's like an in your face way to do it.
Oh, well, what's not in your face about Shinhati, aka Only Bangs Kenobi, just rolling up at the end there with the board, just lifting a lightsaber up high? She's like, "I am your people now. Like, I'm in charge now."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what? If I was all of them, I'd be
They
like,
had no idea
kill
what
her.
was the character.
Yeah, kill her.
I really thought like either her or Baylan Skoll would be killed at some point in this season. But I guess the witch lady was the
Oh
one who got
no,
killed.
Dave Filoni can't kill any of his precious characters.
Well, I guess he didn't create Morgan Elsbeth. I guess that was a John Favreau creation.
All
So
right.
she's like, shoot, that bitch is dead.
Dude. All right, no, actually, that's what pisses me off, dude. R.I.P. to Morgan Elsbeth. Fantastic acting. One of the only characters who did anything this entire show, and then they fucking sacrificed it. Thrawn is savage. He's won me over. He can have the 20 extra pounds. I don't care.
No,
he's
taking
been
no
great.
chances.
He's been
so
amazing.
no.
I turned around on him.
I hated Thrawn in this
Let's go,
episode
Let's go.
because like his decision making was like a writer on a cocaine induced binge trying to finish in the last hour 4 hours worth of work.
The writer strike is coming up.
But
finish the script.
But if you just follow like the episode and actually think about it for more than 2 seconds, it's like, wait, why are we doing this now? Wait, why are we doing this now? Wait, why are we doing this now? And it's like he's supposed to be the superior guy who knows all the tactics and everything. And it's like, yeah, send 2 TIE fighters after them.
Yeah, just two is good.
Oh wait,
I'm telling
expect a cavalry assault. Oh yeah, expect this. Expect it. And it's like, what? Are we just doing this to like get action sequences out at this point?
Pretty much. I proposed this last. Were you here for the last episode?
Was I? I don't think so.
So let me drop but I want you to like think about this. Like, this is my proposal from last episode. Was that is Thrawn a great tactician, or is he an excellent spin master? He just does something and it's a terrible result, and he's like, "No, actually, I didn't want her to die. I was just buying some time."
So Grand Admiral Thrawn is Trump. Okay. And now we see why the Empire loves him so much.
There goes all our listeners.
Yeah,
he kind of looks like Trump too now with all the extra pounds, you know.
He's 215. God dang it!
So I was definitely getting Harry.
So topical for a Star Wars podcast.
Let's start at the very beginning because like Morgan Elsbeth gets her power up, which did her absolutely no good.
All right, let's start the 91
end.
indictments against Ahsoka.
Yeah. So
and I was getting major Harry Potter vibes from the
Yeah.
sort of bullshit.
Oh, like I've said
So-
before, every scene of this movie, every scene of this episode is just an homage to a different thing. Like, oh, Kanan, we're making a lightsaber over here, and then like Kanan Jarrus had. I only have 2 parts, and Kanan Jarrus had 1 part, and I left the other part in case he ever needs it. But we'll put it in your lightsaber. Totally
Which
Harry Potter.
so happens to be on the ship that Ahsoka is flying right now. He just created his lightsaber armory there.
That ship is from the Clone Wars. What
I
happened?
agree. I
Where'd
agree,
it
but
go?
like,
did it just hide for 30 years?
so like, Huang has been with Ahsoka for how long? And he decided, hey, I'm gonna make my lightsaber shop in her thing. Which also brings up what happened during the the purge of the Jedi. Did he just like grab all the stuff from his like thing at the Jedi Academy and like run? There's so many questions that could be asked.
According to Ryan Airy at Screen Rush, that is his original ship from the Clone Wars. He wasn't like grabbing it. That's his ship. That's not a ship. That's his ship.
That's fine that it's his ship, but if he's training younglings and his office was at the academy, like was he like just grabbing all the stuff he can as little Jedi were getting slaughtered instead of saving little Jedi?
Oh no! On the
Oh wow!
In the Clone Wars, they made Jedi lightsabers on the ship. So like they would, and these are actually good episodes. If you guys are interested, if you haven't watched the Clone Wars, you don't want to watch 7 seasons of a kids show for adults, for man childs. I would watch the just Google the episodes where they go and find kyber crystals. Those are great episodes. But there's a couple episodes where like younglings have to go and make grab their own kyber crystals, and then like
that was on
the filler episode, they make them on the ship on the way home, and then they've got their own cute little lightsabers.
Well, the 2D Clone Wars by Gennady Tartakovsky, which is the only one I've seen. It's like there's like a cave they go to get the crystals, right?
Yes, yeah, it's a cave on.
Okay,
yeah.
And the difference between Jedi lightsabers and Sith lightsabers is that the crystal that the Sith use is artificial. That's why it's always red.
Not anymore.
Well,
that's not true anymore.
So I will point this out really quick, Major. I've seen Clone Wars, and my big argument has been: if you don't know Rebels, then this is like way over your head. I've seen Clone Wars, and I've totally forgotten about that point. You know what I mean? Like, there's just too much to like rely upon at this point to get.
Absolutely. If we didn't have a global pandemic, RIP the world and all of our sanity, I would have no idea what was happening in this show at all. No one would. No one has time to go back and watch 7 seasons of Clone Wars and 3 seasons of Rebels.
7 seasons.
Yeah, all I know as a non-Rebels watcher is that Thrawn bad and Ahsoka good. Ezra good. They once again
133 episodes of the Clone Wars over 7 seasons.
Wow. I'll probably watch all of Matlock before I get to that.
God, what is the oldest sentence ever uttered on a podcast?
I'll probably watch all of Perry Mason before. Okay, there we go. Just beat it. So
wait, new Perry Mason or old Perry Mason?
Screw the new one. That one already got canceled. So.
Ooh, guys, it's Halloween, and we're adding spooky sound effects in the background.
Robbie's down the door.
I like that.
Thank you.
Dun, dun, dun. So after the witches, also I didn't realize this until I saw it online. The main witch was actually Aaron from Farscape. You watch that show?
Yes, I remember that show. So really quick,
yeah,
just getting with the witch scene where they make her. Whatever, a part of the sisterhood, and give her the sword.
The Sisterhood of the Traveling Sword.
So the issue I have with that scene is I'm willing to suspend my disbelief so much, but seeing magic now, like having Jedi attuned with the Force, like that type of magic is one thing, but like seeing this, like this magic just totally, I don't know what it was.
I was expecting the Voldemort theme.
Yeah,
the Voldemort theme from Harry Potter.
Predicting the future.
Dun, dun, dun,
yeah. Well, so like I'm willing to buy certain things with the Force, but like seeing the magic in front of me and the really crappy animation, I just was like, this is starting to get like to be too much.
Yeah, what is
You know what I
this,
mean?
World of
Like
Warcraft?
I could only suspend my
Well,
disbelief so much.
And,
Well, I
and
guess
there are
Ahsoka's-
those all those coffins, more witches.
More witches are coming. Matt,
Well,
I would ask you to temper your disdain because it's that same mindset that drove us to midichlorians.
Yep.
Right? You
Well,
don't be like, oh, why is there magic in the universe?
So
Because someone at Disney might actually listen and be like, oh, there's major chlorians. Actually, do the major chlorians. You can do those. That sounds actually really cool.
I guess the issue is like I hate when you over explain it with the science like they did with midichlorians, trying to like find a specific reason. But what like I said, I can buy a certain amount of like the kind of like almost Buddhism being like one with nature and being like, you know, or like the Wiccan beliefs, you know, like how you use nature and, you know, distort nature versus like seeing green flames create things and like change you and take your soul. Like, and this leads me to my next point.
It's a little more D&D than you like.
Yes.
And
The worst part of the episode, exactly, Rob, was the zombie troopers. When you see the zombie trooper's eyes being green and he makes that growling noise. And it was just so fucking...
You needed Rick Grimes to come in and like tell him like shoot him in the head.
Yeah, seriously, I like almost threw my remote and be like, I give up. This is
well. That was a theory though. Everyone thought the night troopers were like undead anyway, but you know they just sort of.
I'm just saying how they did it. It's one thing being undead zombies. It's like they made them literally zombies. It was like, I'm a zombie now. Yeah, like
and inconsistent zombies, my least favorite kind of zombies. They were starting off slow and then they got faster. And then we got to Ahsoka versus the witch who was left behind. And then they stopped shooting and they just gathered around in a circle. I hate
like
Star Wars.
But the Inquisitor that they had, it's not Merrick, but I forget his name. The Inquisitor that we had up until episode 6, where they killed him and the Green Magic League, he acted perfectly normal. He just didn't speak, but he acted like he normally did. So why all of a sudden do these stormtroopers have to be growling and like zombie-like?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's a good question.
Because it's October.
When they turned into a corpse in like 30 seconds.
Yeah, but when they killed the the zombie night troopers, we didn't see green smoke come out, so it might be a different spell. But I get your complaint.
Yeah, that was.
And I tell you what, I agree. Not to complain about sunburn on top of a dumpster fire, but this is both.
Like it's just the inconsistency in the storytelling. Are we now saying that there's different versions of like this dark magic that reanimates people? You know,
Wikipedia is still being written. Wikipedia article is still being written on Dathomiri magic.
But you see, when the distance traveled of the magic,
exactly. It's like, you know what? We're gonna get another series after the next movie that only explains the Dathomiri magic because of how badly it's been handled in these 2 episodes.
It's very
now we're gonna need 6 to 8 episodes of explaining magic because of how poorly they just threw shit against the wall in this series.
3 of them are basically a cheat code for Thrawn there.
Yeah. So I think the whole raiding, not raiding, but like the surge or the raid on the temple was poorly done. I think it was very good luck that they weren't killed by one of the lasers in the ship. That's very unbelievable.
And this is just getting way too technical. You have a super Star Destroyer that's firing a laser at the ground. First, like the concussion coming off of an explosion alone of something that can
those biggest shots.
And so in an atmosphere, like it's in atmosphere. It's in atmosphere. It's not in space. It's in atmosphere now.
But what is the atmosphere? You don't know.
You know. Well, they can obviously fucking breathe. They can obviously fucking breathe.
Okay, touche, you nerd, science, Doctor Matt.
All right. So just the lack of oxygen that those lasers hitting the ground would create, and the concussive force alone would make your like head bleed, and not a single one, even though he's not particularly aiming for them, but not a single one comes anywhere near destroying them, it's bullshit.
Yeah, they just drive straight almost.
It's like, expect a ground assault. Oh yeah, I'm also going to fire all my lasers from my Superstar Destroyer. Like, this goes, like, what's the line of thinking? Like,
Can we just take a second? All right, so your complaints are 100% valid. They're 250% valid. But I do want to give a second, because we've been talking about Dave Filoni, how shitty he is as a writer, and how every scene's been a giant homage. Can I just give a second to applaud this man? When they shot down that tower, that they didn't have it collapse like one of the towers in 9/11. That would be too far. And I think Dave Filoni probably would have thought about it. That's the kind of terrible writing that's going on in this fucking show. So I just want to take a second. Someone at Disney, I don't think it was Dave Filoni, but someone above him, someone said this is a bad idea. Do not have that tower fall down.
Yeah.
Like that. Because why would you shoot the bottom? Everyone is on all of your guys are on the bottom. There's two of your enemies are on the top of it. Shoot the top of the tower.
Or maybe leave a TIE fighter behind since you're leaving a witch behind. And
Oh, God, don't leave a TIE fighter behind. Just drop the TIE fighters down, shoot them. She has a lightsaber. You know what the range is on that? It's not even a D20, bro. Not even, it's nothing.
Oh, and did you see the look from one of the witches that they gave Thrawn? After saying, gotta shoot. Yeah, I gotta shoot the place down.
They're just dead anyway.
Yeah, what did y'all think of the rematch between Morgan and Ahsoka? We've been waiting, 3 years for this?
Oh my gosh.
Eight years.
So before we even get there, what we have to draw attention to is, I don't understand Twitter sometimes, or X, or whatever we're calling it now. They said, oh, this scene was so like a video game. It was awesome. I thought it was one of the worst scenes in the episode. It's when they first encountered the zombie troopers, and they're in the hallway just deflecting laser bolts, and it's just like, it's so clunky.
Well, they seem to have had some different armor.
Yeah, it's just, but no. It just, Ahsoka, Ezra, and Sabine. It just looks awkward and clunky and bad. Well, and we've seen
they are awkward, clunky, and bad Jedi.
Yeah, but just like, this is what goes back to like why I don't like Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka, because she's just not.
She's clunky,
nimble enough.
No,
if that makes any sense.
I agree. 100%. She's beautiful. We're not talking about her body. She's just not graceful, right? Reference 3 episodes ago when we talked about her doing that force jump or whatever, when she jumped and twirled in the air and she went half a foot off the ground, right? As a Jedi.
It just looked slow. Her reactions are just not there. It looked kind of like we're forcing this disbelief that, yeah, I am battling. Whereas we've seen in Rebels, Ezra literally go down a hallway like Darth Vader and take out 10 stormtroopers, and towards the end he started doing that. But literally they're all just standing there deflecting, laser bolts back at them. And it's just like, this is
talking to each other. Just
dumbest fucking scene.
Can I ask you this? Because I wonder this all the time, especially this last episode, right? 2 units of stormtroopers, night troopers, whatever they're called now, is excessive. There's not like you're talking about your suspension of disbelief. My suspension of disbelief when you're blocking 24 laser bolts coming at you. Why not just send one troop after them, 1 unit? Because you're trying to reserve you've already said in the previous episode, you've already written down in canon, you're trying to preserve as many troops as possible. So just send 1 unit. That would be much more plausible, much more believable. They just have to, it's 3 on 12 or whatever. But no, it's 3 on 24. It's fucking stupid. The CGI is crap. Everything looks clunky, like you were saying.
Or there's 3 stairways and plenty of cover. Why did they run down the stairways and just stand in the open area against 3 Jedi?
I mean, there's 2 stairways. You divide the 3 Jedis up. That's the easiest. That's the obvious writing. That's the best writing. And then you have 3 hallway scenes. Oh my gosh! I just gotta. No, I'm not gonna say that. My daughter's listening.
But like with basic military training that I have, you don't run down the stairs, stand in the open, and shoot at the enemy. You find cover and lines of fire, and you make sure that you don't cross lines of fire. So when you're standing behind somebody, guess what? When you start firing, if you move your weapon, you're going to be, flagging. We call it flagging another person. And so if you fire and move, you're going to hit your own guy. So none of it makes sense.
Yeah.
So
dumb.
Matt, you're not gonna campaign for a Stormtrooper zombie movie by Filoni
No,
after Heir of the Empire? Okay.
it was so bad.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's been people like online like try and campaign for that. But yeah, let's go on to the Morgan Elsbeth and Ahsoka fight scene. And I what struck me in this was like she cut one of her lightsabers in half.
The biggest
And I was like,
tragedy.
that's what every single lightsaber fight should be. Like just one of them should like try to just kill the handle, and then the fight's over.
So I like to nerd out for a second, not because I'm as nerdy as Matt. Matt's probably gonna. Matt, are you about to correct him? I'll let Matt correct him because Matt's read the book, so Matt earned the correction. You go ahead. I'll let Matt.
No, you can go. Like, what happens when you cut a kyber crystal?
Well, no, not when you cut a kyber crystal. That sounds terrible. What a lot of people who haven't read the books or driven an hour and a half one way to work, so they haven't listened to all the Star Wars lore, might not know is that like an obvious question is why not just force pull or force push a lightsaber out of an opponent's hand. One of the things you learn as a Jedi very early on is how to use the Force to keep the lightsaber in your hand so that your opponent can't rip from you, which is why you'll see untrained wielders of the lightsaber in canon get the lightsaber yanked away from them. But anyone who's been trained at the Jedi Academy or anyone's a Jedi knows how to use the Force to hold the lightsaber in their hand.
And another thing,
well, my point was, why don't they just destroy the handle though?
So I'll let Matt take over. I'll let Matt take over for that.
So you cut a kyber crystal and it doesn't just fall on the ground. So I think talk about it like in the Jedi Academy series, like there's a specific way to put a kyber crystal in a lightsaber. And if you don't do it right, there are catastrophic effects. That's why you have to be taught properly and you have to attune to it. Yep. You know, you don't just build a lightsaber like Huang was, saying. You have to like attune to it. It has to attune to you, and you put it in. So if you cut a handle, that lightsaber isn't just going to fall on the ground and go clunk, 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 clunk. It's going to
explode. Yeah, everyone's dead.
Well, I think if it's going to turn it off. I think it's the point.
No, it's going to turn off.
It's going to it's going to
explode.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the other thing too,
if you cut the electronics,
if you guys, I know you all force push this out of your memories, but if you can remember the sequel trilogy, what was what was their Death Star called? The Star Killer base.
Yeah.
That ran on a kyber crystal. So these fuckers are.
Why didn't her
Death Star did
as well? Yeah.
Why didn't her lightsaber explode though when she cut it in half?
Because it didn't cut the kyber crystal in half.
Yeah, well, because it's Dave Filoni and they don't know the lore. But
I'm just saying though, like, wouldn't that be a smart thing to do? Just try to like cut the handle in the future, just to end the lightsaber battle.
Well, so this also goes to the whole like, one person can send it into hyperspace and destroy a whole fleet argument. It's just dumb, and people, kind of like overlook it because if you have to actually explain why it does or doesn't work, it kind of ruins it, but it still kind of pisses off the nerds.
Oh, okay. Well, I think after
sorry to interrupt, just read a tweet here at Disney. We aren't sure if there will be a second season of Ahsoka.
Yeah. So the final part of the episode, well, after like
so we're on the fight, right?
Yeah, Ahsoka removes the internal organs of Morgan Elsbeth, cuts her open.
Solderizes
I guess
it. No?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I guess her power up didn't really do much good. She's got like a free sword that was on fire, but
but you know what that was?
You know what's something?
That was an homage. That was an homage to the Clone
replacing
Wars.
a broken lightsaber?
Yep.
No, that Talzin sword was from Mother Talzin, which is just for the Clone Wars fans.
Sorry, Rebels fans. So Ezra and Sabine go.
Okay. When they fight the Super Troopers or whatever they are called, can you explain to me why not once? Why not once? Ezra does a force push.
Well, he didn't force push. Get on the
he force pushed all the last episode.
No. Exactly. So he force pushed the regular troopers.
He was constipated.
But you're fighting this thing that's choking you out, and you don't force push it off the cliff. Literally, you're on the edge of a precipice that sits hundreds of feet or meters or however you want to explain it, and you don't force push it just simply off. You let it beat you up as you roll around and try to lightsaber battle it. This is the Superman complex where you have to explain a superpower, and then in the next scene, you're like, oh yeah, he just forgot he had that superpower.
No, can I tell you why? Can I tell you the real world reason why?
Why?
Part 7 was directed by director Geeta Patel, and episode 8 was directed by Rick. I'm so sorry,
Famuyiwa.
Yes,
yeah,
Famuyiwa.
He directs a lot of Mandalorian episodes.
Yeah, so basically, what you have here, what we have here is a failure to communicate between. Anyone familiar with like the script writing process? Like they all get their assignments and they go off in their own writers' rooms and they write this shit. So like when you're writing episode 8, you don't necessarily know what episode 7 says. So episode 7 has so much force pushing.
Is it?
And episode 8 has none. It's like that's why.
Isn't that what a showrunner's for? To make sure there's continuity?
Yeah, but like, dude, if you're so busy stuck up your own asshole, you might miss showrunning.
Well, so let's.
I don't mean as an insult. I mean as a compliment because I know he always wears a cowboy hat.
Oh yeah,
so I think it's a compliment. It's a compliment. He shows himself
this entire episode. So, yeah.
They flop a lot. Sorry.
So Ezra gets on the ship.
That's about as bad writing as Ahsoka.
So sorry. I will say though, I love the homage back to Rebels. How when he takes out the trooper, how it's like, oh, we're coming to your sector, and he takes the communication thing, and it's like, 5-4, Roger that. He did that in Rebels too.
Oh, okay, cool. So all the fans are like, yee. Yeah. So Thrawn has like a quick talk with Ahsoka. Well, I guess like Sabine and Ahsoka go in the ship and they catch up with Thrawn. So he's like, "Hey, Ahsoka, you suck. I'm out. Peace." And then he goes to the galaxy.
I have won the day. So
I have won the day.
Continuity issue, or not even continuity issue, just the lack of. So we just go from 2 TIE fighters taking out her ship.
Yeah.
And yet in like 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, the ship is fine and can go almost, can go leave the planet. Whereas in previous episodes, her ship has been disabled and she has to stay on the planet for days while Huang repairs it because it's just going to take forever to repair it.
Just depends on where you get shot, buddy.
And well, not only that though, they took out the stabilizers. It's not just like they mention a very core part of it, whereas in the past they mentioned different core parts of it. And how he also is like, oh, I'm deflecting everything to engines, which means you don't have shields if you're deflecting everything to engines. So it's just like they did more damage to it, crashing it,
including oxygen.
Literally crashed it into the ground after taking 2 TIE fighters out, and are able to fix it in like however long it takes to ride 2 wolfhounds to the base. Whereas it literally took days, and the other parts of the rebels coming and helping them repair their ship. The last time it got taken out,
the showrunner did not do their job.
Did they fix that by crashing off screen? Didn't they crash behind a mountain so you didn't?
Yeah, they crashed behind him. But you did see the ship though, and they leave him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's just like
there's a deleted scene where Huang's like, "Oh, the fixed switch was off." He switches the fixed.
Well, see, and I would have buy into the fact that like, so what I thought they were going to show what Sabine was really good at. Is what Rey was good at, how she just like knew how to fix a ship. She knew how to fix the Millennium Falcon in the sequels, and that was part of her Jedi atonement. And I really thought throughout this series they were going to say, oh, like Sabine's like kind of Jedi atonement is like she just knows how to like fly a ship or how to like fix a ship. And no, that's not it. And that was a really missed opportunity because that's what Anakin could do, and that's what Rey could do. Who are apparently both Skywalkers somehow, or Palpatine.
He's a Palpatine.
He's Skywalker. He's Skywalker,
or maybe don't
Skywalker.
Skywalker. I get your Bueller reference.
No. It was SpongeBob. I'm Skywalker. He's Skywalker. We're all Skywalker.
My leg.
Gary's like meow.
Matt, you bring up
my
an
leg.
excellent point. You know what? We've been I've been bashing Matt. I've been bashing Dave Filoni this entire time, and how it's been an homage, and how it's just been one big like love fest for the Clone Wars and Rebels. But you know what? We haven't seen Sabine do us once this entire time. Graffiti. She hasn't been artistic once, and I think that's
She was
that's
artistic
weird.
in solving the map. Because she was
cut her
an artist.
hair. She cut her hair. So she
Graffiti is illegal.
She should be doing graffiti inside the tower. That would have been a cool moment. That would have been a nice homage to the.
Just like she like spray paints Thrawn like butt naked with a really small.
Yes,
or just like an anarchy symbol.
I'm aware that if she actually did it, I would just complain about it. So, like, leave your comments on X, formerly known as Twitter. It's the Zealots podcast. That's plural, guys.
Well, the very end of the episode, not the very end, but like Thrawn and the witches are at the planet Dathomir. Dathomir. So I'm guessing that's going to lean into season 2 or Heir of the Empire.
I don't know how much season 2.
So I don't think there'll be season 2. They're definitely setting up the Mandoverse movie. But I really, really hope. Yeah. I really hope. Intrusive. I think it's Intrusive Bakura. I could be wrong with the name of the book. The Dathomir witches actually rode Rancors, and that's actually where we get Rancors from. So
nice.
That's right. That'd be cool to see. We won't see.
And we've already seen Rancors in. Once again, I don't know if it's Book of Boba Fett or I think it's Book of Boba Fett, the last episode where they're attacking the village, because it's really just Mandalorian season 2.5. But
agreed.
I want to see some more Rancors.
Guys, I have terrible news. According to Collider, Ahsoka season 2 is in early development. Sorry,
yep.
Guys.
Well, they've already listed it, but
who?
So, can we even talk about the true ending? Fuck Thrawn being at Dathomir.
Okay. Yeah, because we all knew that was going to happen.
Baylan.
Such a boring finale.
Baylan standing on the statue of Mortis. If you pull up, it's the 3 that lead to the world between worlds. And if you look, the daughter is missing her face, and you have Mortis, and you have the wife there.
And we saw the owl. We saw the owl.
Yep, and we saw the owl. So definitely the world between worlds. Like that's obviously what he's trying to find. But just that scene when he pulls out, it's like,
is that what he's looking at on Mount Doom? That we see that flashing beacon.
Well, I think Mortis is pointing to where the world between worlds. And remember how I said a few episodes ago how I really think the way Ahsoka, I thought Ezra would be the one to find it, but really the way they get back is they're going to find the world between worlds on this planet.
Yeah.
Are they all going to come together and work together, or like?
What I think is going to happen is they're going to come across it, and the way to write out Ray Stevenson, to write out Baylan, is they're going to find his body. In his search, he succumbed to something, and they're going to he was searching for this.
They're going to find his lightsaber outside the Sarlacc pit.
I think they should just recast him. Get what's his name, Graham McTavish.
What I'm looking forward to now is I would like a spin-off series, animated prequel, just Baylan. Just give me more of Baylan.
No, Forrest, I think you actually bring a good point. I would think a way to recast them is they meet him in between the world between worlds, and he's his younger self when he first leaves the Jedi Order.
I like it. Yes, I like it.
You know what I mean?
I'm on board.
So it's not Ray Stevenson, but it's still Baylan.
Or he takes off his mask, Mission Impossible style, and it's Tom Cruise.
But imagine they get the world between worlds because they follow his tracks, and it's a younger version of him, just like a younger version of Anakin. And he's like, "This is where it all first started for me. When I first found out about this." And I think that would be really cool.
Who would they cast as a young Baylan Skull?
Dude, I don't want to lie.
What did Ray Stevenson look like 20 years ago?
You said
I don't know. Just watch Rome.
Yeah.
What if Tom Cruise could Star Wars is dying? Can Tom Cruise save it?
I'm sure that. I mean, basically, Tom Cruise owns Paramount at this point because Top Gun. Mission Impossible is all they have.
Yeah,
so I think wants to
Scientology.
Paramount does not want him moving over to Disney because he's basically the only thing keeping that studio afloat.
But it's weird. So you have the father,
Ryan Gosling. I don't know.
And then you have the daughter, but she's missing her head. Why is that?
Yeah. I think that's an homage to the fact that his apprentice, who probably is his real daughter, is off on her own, has like chosen a different path.
So
So-
I wanted Shinhati, aka Only Bangs Kenobi, and
She had no
Ray
lines.
Stevenson to be like father daughter, but the way he just instantly dismissed her as a Padawan in the last episode, I know they're not related.
They both have white hair. They have to be. No.
So
Yeah. So I don't know. I think they should probably just recast Balin's skull because
they don't
what's
even
the
recast Luke Skywalker. So why would
Damn
they recast
Targaryen.
anyone?
they've already recast Han Solo. It's just a matter of time if they recast Luke Skywalker.
And
They've recast Captain Kirk twice.
They recast Han Solo, and that movie flopped, and they took away the wrong message from that. And the message they took away was we'll never recast ever again.
Until they do. So I'm thinking they should probably just recast Balin's skull. So Matt, what was the name of the character in Heir to the Empire book? Who's like the evil Jedi, like Shabbath or something?
Is Shabak? Yeah.
I think people were thinking Balin's skull was going to be that.
I
version
thought he
of the
was going to
character.
be. I really thought that was going to be him.
You know, be
But
fun.
maybe.
Fuck all those theories. Balin's skull becomes Snoke.
Balin Snoke.
No, he just becomes Snoke because Snoke's from the unknown region.
He's
from the outer realms or whatever.
He just starts smoking like 20 packs a day until he looks like Snoke. Right?
People are gonna be like, "Oh, but Snoke was like a failed clone experiment." I'm just saying, Star Wars is such bad writing.
Balin's skull was Palpatine's long lost son.
Mhm.
And maybe make him Rey's dad.
I mean, through the world of world, through the world of worlds,
Who
you can
cares?
just do
Who
whatever
cares?
you want to now.
Somehow, no, Balin's skull is a clone of Palpatine.
Who's also his son.
Somehow Palpatine's returned.
Somehow Palpatine got a woman pregnant. So that was Ahsoka. I think we all hated it. No, we didn't hate it. I liked it more than Mandalorian. I was like mildly entertained.
Oh my gosh, it was so
just
barely watchable. Yeah, put on in the background in the hospital while you're dying. It's
so
not worse than the other trash they put out.
My final notes are: it's frustrating because I love the story they're trying to tell. I just did not like the presentation at all and the way they went about it.
Well, if it's setting up, if it's setting up a more faithful adaptation of the Heir to the Empire trilogy books, then I'm all for it. Yeah, because basically that's what everyone wanted in the sequel trilogy anyway. So
the worst part is this whole time, it was a tease. There was so much potential. Every episode, there was so much potential. There was so much potential. There was so much potential. And even at the end, there's so much potential. But that final episode was just like, what the fuck is going on here?
It's all set up. It was like nothing, no resolution, just all set up. There was like one like sword battle just for like denouement, but it was really just set up for other things in the Star Wars universe. It's more like every Marvel movie now. Like there's no story being told except every 10 movies.
You nailed it, right? There's nothing.
So it's just all set up.
There's no story told like by itself. You're absolutely right. It's all set up.
It's all like prepare next product.
Now,
Disney.
What about Gen V? Is this setting up anything? The Voice definitely wasn't setting up Gen V. This is a spinoff out of nowhere.
Yeah. So thoughts on Gen V.
Sorry, I guess before we segue, let's get everyone's thoughts on this. Do you want a season 2, Robbie? Yes or no?
Disney does.
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka.
Well, just to see more Thrawn.
More Thrawn.
And see where Balin's skull was going if they're going to recast him.
Or
just kill him off screen. Like he just tripped and like he hit his head on a rock and just died. Just like a very characteristic death for Jedi.
He didn't get off that statue.
He was the best part of the show, and there's no way to honorably kill him off screen. You're absolutely
he ate some bad roots. And he died of dysentery off screen. That's the way to kill him.
Maybe Aboleth eats him, but I don't know how they'll do that.
And then Aboleth gets dysentery. God, cycle life.
And we all fail the Oregon Trail.
So Gen V. I've only seen the first episode and like half the second one. I'm gonna say overall, not great, not terrible. It's just very redundant. I think it's pretty unnecessary spinoff. Doesn't really expand the boys universe.
Ooh, unnecessary spinoff. That's a good way to summarize this.
Yeah, like most spinoffs, except Frasier or Frasier. Oh, the Woods. I guess the Woods.
The Woods. Yeah.
The Woods is going to completely make me do a 180 on this show and love it, right, Rob?
No.
Okay. So, yeah, Gen V, first episode. So the main character, her power is she can control.
Let's do overall thoughts. Matt, have you seen this? Robbie, have you seen?
I have not actually.
All right, so Matt hasn't seen this. Matt, do you mind spoilers?
I will say also I don't mind spoilers. So I just want to point out something about this. Amazon has done a really poor job of like saying specific. They've advertised Gen V just when it specifically was going to come out. Because last Thursday I was after rugby practice hanging out with the guys at the bar, and we're like, "Oh yeah, Gen V, that's coming out soon." And it was like it dropped on Tuesday on the commercial during the NFL game that we were watching at the bar. And I was like, "Wait," everybody's like, "It's dropped. We can watch it now." And I was just kind of taken aback that it's already available. So I did not make time. I was watching other shows, unfortunately, Ahsoka being one of them.
No,
screw you, Amazon. I only have a certain amount of hours in a day.
Yeah, Charlotte isn't very good about putting like Amazon or TV or movie products on buses in New York.
Amazon didn't really advertise this, and they haven't really been advertising like Wheel of Time. Like dropped silently in the background.
Yeah, they advertise the show, but not when it's going to actually drop is the issue. And I feel like Wheel of Time is exactly the same way. And when I'm hearing about Wheel of Time, I actually need to watch season 2, which I don't want to.
I am loving season 2, bro. I am loving season 2.
Gen V by yourself.
Gen V, I knew it was going to be a show. And I was like, when's it going to come out? When's it going to come out? And apparently it's out.
Yeah, it just dropped.
Yeah.
I got the world. Hey, watch Gen V for the podcast.
And the world kept on turning. It didn't stop. And like, to enjoy Gen V, like Tiger King.
Rob, what are your thoughts? Overall thoughts before we get into the weeds? The blood.
I like how they show like a background of how they're bringing up all the superheroes and just more of the dirty side of Vought.
It's just like
it's kind of
if
like
you want to see a good fictional superhero school, watch Sky High. Because I think they definitely handled it a lot better than this show does. Because like they could only think of like 2 schools within the college. There's performing arts and there's crime fighting, and that's it.
Yeah,
like they couldn't think of anything else. So it just seemed like the writers just didn't really have a whole lot of interest in world building, or they just didn't know what to do.
I'm too busy trying to be inclusive and woke. Let's dive into my overall thoughts. I would say, as far as woke goes, I think they did it right. As someone who is absolutely tired of just being woke, just being shoved down someone's throat. Matt, not your definition. Your definition is still fine forever. The 2023 definition of woke, just being shoved down your throat. I thought they handled everything perfectly, right? If I wasn't so exhausted from the last 2 years, this would have just been a really fun, inclusive show. But what
they kind of show the craziness of all the
my biggest issue is that the main character superpower is just
self-harm.
Well, yeah, it's just like I guess like she doesn't even like heal. She just like keeps cutting her hands, and the blood comes out. I guess the blood can become a knife.
Yeah, it becomes very
cut people and like a rope.
Control blood.
Yeah,
how does that work? How it's a liquid? It can't be a knife or even like a rope.
It can. It can become anything she wants because it's a TV show.
But it's not like if it was like metal. It's blood. Yes, I know. I did not agree with the premise of the main character's power.
I mean, when she's
healing, when she's healing someone, like
you saw that.
That's good. So she should have been like an EMT. She should be going like a medical school. She should be going like superhero school. But that's like a character. That's like a power.
Throwing out blood. Eventually, does she also have the power to just replenish blood easily?
She just needs she's like suck blood in order to like replenish.
I think she has to eat food to make new blood. Yeah. But let me ask you this: you're upset about her blood killing abilities. What about that guy who was like throwing an ice cube of that looked like a swan and cut that girl's jugular?
That
right?
that was metal. He controls metal because his dad's named Polarity.
Was that metal? I thought that was
metal.
ice.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was a coin that he morphed into.
Ice.
Sorry,
ice,
my baby was crying in the middle. I was changing a diaper in the middle of that scene.
Like ice would make sense because you can make that like icicles into knives. Like,
yeah, that's why I thought. He did at a bar. I thought he lifted up a piece of ice and turned it into like a swan.
I mean, I guess does blood coagulate to where it hardens? I don't think so.
I mean, I think the literal definition
There's like
of coagulation is blood hardening.
But blood doesn't harden enough to where you can like make a knife out of it.
Well,
Like icicles.
You're using
icicles can.
Her powers to just like keep it.
She would have. She would have to freeze her blood.
Fine.
She'd have to like freeze her blood.
What if she got AIDS, Forrest? Would that be deadly enough for you if she got AIDS?
Oh yeah, I mean, that would take like 5 years to kill her enemies, though, right?
I mean, not if Dr. Fauci's involved. But all right, we got all the guys from that Matt's Trump.
The boys' universe in itself, I would always have to be tested for like hepatitis or something because it's like there's blood gets everywhere.
Can we test? Can we get tested for penises? Because we saw a lot of penises, and I've seen 0 boobs yet. Which is
that there's a little clip of love sausage in there.
Oh
well,
he's in a later episode.
Yeah. The what's coming up in the future? With this
we're on stupid superpower number 1, which is controlling blood. Stupid superpower number 2 is controlling fire, but you're always naked.
No, that's how it should be.
Unless he gets a suit, they were gonna.
Which he was gonna get a suit.
Yeah, but they never got that suit, did they? So
no, he blew up. No. He killed himself. Are you gonna blame him? That seems a little heartless.
I'm not going to blame him for killing himself. That tracks.
It's probably his fault.
Well, I just thought it was a dumb power, like Golden Boy. I thought like he should like.
What do you think about the purge power? I think these are created.
Yeah,
It was kind of funny when they're coming in there talking
3.
about how it's uncut.
Yeah, so like all the powers in the show are just really stupid. Are just not really like practical. Like in a crime fighting, or
that's
just
why
like
they're putting them through this.
No, but I think that's the point. I think
if she can shrink without throwing up.
Of course, what you need to listen to is that Gen Z.
These aren't all just like
guys,
already.
Gen Z is hurting.
Good to go superheroes.
Gen Z is hurting.
They're cutting themselves, blowing themselves up,
and
throwing
Gen
up.
V is a allegory.
And they're like transitioning between boy and girl. Apparently, that's not their power. Their power is like what, indestructibility or something.
Why do you think they're not in the top 10?
She's in the top 10. The boy girl one, they are in the top 10. They're like number 5 or 2. But like they have like a weird. But like, that's not their power. Isn't like that. Well, their power is that they can change from boy to girl. But like their main power is that.
Like each gender has different powers.
Yeah, so like the boy is like
seems like the guy is bulletproof and strong, and the girl has like these force powers or something.
Oh, the force, of course.
I haven't really seen what.
So
maybe
check this stat out. Right in 2018, according to the American Psychological Association, a staggering 91% of Gen Zers aged 18 to 21 reported experiencing at least one physical or emotional symptom of stress in the past month, compared to just 74% of adults overall. Well, 74, that still sounds really high. But that was just as a comparison, 17% back in 2012. So we've gone from 17 to 91 for our youth. So that's why we've gone from Brandon Ralph as Superman to our superpower is our bulimia and cutting ourselves.
Did anyone think Arnold Schwarzenegger's son should have been in better shape since he was naked the entire episode?
Yes, but I think
naked butt.
I think it's and CGI penis.
Oh, that was on fire.
That was an uncut flaming dick. Which really should probably be the name of this podcast. Should we? I mean,
I'm pretty sure it's already taken. So
that was just herpes.
We're kind of just growing all over the place. It starts off with her killing her parents, which is kills her parents with her blood powers, unrealistically.
Not just her blood powers. Did she kills her mom with her period blood? Let's specify.
Yeah.
Let's specify that for a second. Yeah.
Edgy. So she goes to the orphanage and she gets into Godalkin University. For people who don't know the comic, Godalkin is the guy who runs the G-Men, which are like the allegory for the X-Men, except if Professor X was a pedophile.
He's a huge pedo.
So they decided to change the G-Men into like a college where they train superheroes
with no G-Man, with no.
But there's no G-Men. Yeah. So yeah, really, this whole show is just like, as I said, it's unnecessary. Like I would have much preferred if they had just adapted the G-Men arc for the boys. Like that would have been way more interesting.
Just spin off
because Huey goes undercover as a G-Man in training, and that would have been cool.
Is that when Moon Knight fucks the moon or whatever?
No, that's Tech Knight.
Is that when Tech Knight fucks the moon?
He fucks like a meteor.
Oh yeah. Where's that episode on Amazon?
Well, I think Tech Knight's going to be in this show because they're just going to like waste him on this series. But so she gets to Godalkin University. She meets her roommate. Was it Little Cricket? She becomes small, but she's fighting a mouse.
Little Cricket happy hour.
It seems like so she's gerbil. So they're trying to endear us to this roommate, but she like engages in animal abuse. She punches her gerbil. For YouTube views.
God. Yeah, if you want to get that insensitive.
I don't know if she punched it.
They're literally in a wrestling ring.
No, Robbie, they're in a fighting ring.
And she's going to be like, who's going to win this round?
Unless it's Ms. TV and she's just having an interview with the rat, which also doesn't speak English. 0 views.
Yeah. So she's abusing this poor animal.
How do you get 1 million views on YouTube? You punch a rat every Friday night live on YouTube. That's why we're failing as a podcast. We're not failing as a podcast, but that's why we don't have 1 million views.
That's why we're failing as a Christian. That's why we're failing as a Christian podcast. Because we don't. Because we keep talking about these disgusting shows.
Yeah. So don't forget to send in your tithings, 10% to Zealots.
Yeah. Tithes, yeah. Be sure to tithe. So
there's tithes and tithing. Tithing is the verb.
Tithe is what you clean your clothes. Tithes
not tithes. Don't need a Tide Pod.
If we donate all your Tide Pods to this podcast. Whoa, there we go. That's why it's called a podcast.
This might. Oh God!
It's all circular.
This is the most chaotic podcast I've ever experienced.
It's all over the place.
We're gonna be a literal podcast. So she signs up for Crime Fighting 101. She gets rejected because she doesn't have an Instagram.
Yeah. No social media following.
Which tracks? Because she's not a celebrity yet before she gets to college. So then she gets into the class because she gets invited by the Polarity guy, who I guess is supposed to be bisexual because he says he wants to bang A-Train.
Yeah,
is that right?
Mm-hmm, something like that.
It's sort of like vaguely bisexual.
Well, like I said, the show's doing it so well. They mentioned it once, and it hasn't come up since. He's not like a horn dog trying to fuck.
That's why he's called Polarity because.
Bipolarity. Shut the fuck.
He's
That's
I don't know.
Maybe. You're probably not wrong.
Genders,
the writing is pretty good in this show.
So
Jen Lee. We were talking about Jen Lee for a second. What'd you say, Rob?
He said nothing.
Wait, what?
So there's the guy running from the campus police, and he doesn't want to go back to the woods.
Spoiler alert! It's Sam.
Sam from
Golden Boy's brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we learn about Golden. We get all his backstory with Golden Boy, and then they kill him off in the first episode.
Oh, he comes back. Don't you worry. They didn't cast Patrick Schwarzenegger or one of the Schwarzenegger's sons.
How do they? Is he like just in flashbacks or just like in video? Oh, okay. Then he's dead. Then.
Oh, he's definitely dead. No, if you could tell from all the blood, he's definitely dead.
And yet, people still think Moriarty is going to come back in Sherlock season 6. So she goes to
somehow
New York City to party. Somehow Moriarty returned. So they go to New York City to party with Golden Boy, the what's her name? The chick with the gloves on, like Rogue, but
Kate.
Apparently only her hands can make you do what she wants.
Impulse, or what she calls.
She has like bare arms, and she's like, yeah. So
Matt and the listeners who haven't caught up or who haven't watched the show, Kate is a character who can impulse people. So basically, she takes off her gloves and she touches you, and then she can tell you to do something like the Purple Man and Jessica Jones. she can what she calls pushes. She can basically just make you do everything.
Persuasion.
Just-
The
yeah,
power of
persuasion.
persuasion.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a character on Heroes who was just like that, and I think what Skylar was gonna like take her power, and then she shoots herself, so he can't take her power.
Save the cheerleaders,
also,
save the world.
Umbrella-
Season 2 was terrible.
Umbrella
Umbrella
Academy. I heard a rumor.
Go on.
No, just saying that was one of the characters who could persuade as well.
Oh, that's right. I heard a rumor. Yeah.
Oh,
What's
that's
her
the
name?
name.
Yeah.
So
Number 4, sister.
Yep.
Number 4.
Polarity is the metal guy, and he's trying to pick up this chick, and takes like a coin or something. He makes like a hummingbird. He's like, I'm putting that old guy's drink, and then like some guy like nudges him, and then he like the hummingbird goes through this girl's throat, and Marie Moreau saves her, and then everyone has their phones out. They see her saving this girl, and then she gets expelled by the Kurgan.
Or does she?
Brown.
Or does she?
Who voices? She does not. Well, she's going to until Golden Boy kills Brink.
Yeah, be careful for those hugs, man. Flame on.
He
so Golden Boy.
What a flamer!
Hugs Brink, and then just doesn't let go, and then powers up and burns him to a crisp, and tries to. And then what's the main character? Cuts her wrist, or not wrist, cuts her hands. Walks in, sees the whole thing happening, and at first you're like, "Oh no, I ain't see anything." You think it's gonna be fine, and then he's like, "I wish you."
This is the
anything.
bathroom.
Yeah, and then all hell breaks loose. The number 2 fighter fights against number 1 fighter. It's the Gen Lee person.
Yeah, these guys don't really seem that tough, and they're like the number 2 ranked.
It's hilarious. It's like, oh, you're gonna be on the 7 and stuff, and it's like, dude, the Homelander could just cut you in half instantly.
Yeah.
You guys are terribly incompetent.
We got to talk.
Are these Gen Beers or millennials?
we got to talk about continuity in this show because this takes place after season 3 because Starlight has left the 7.
This takes.
Is this?
I can't tell when.
But I thought Starlight was still in the 7 after season 3, so I'm guessing.
I think this takes place.
Between season 2 and 3?
No, I think.
They had some Brave Maeve bars.
But I thought,
but Ashley's in charge, so it's got to be after season 2.
Okay, but I thought they said Starlight had left the 7, so he was going to take Starlight's place.
Did Starlight lead the 7 after the end of last season? At the end of last season, I think there's like there's a bunch of openings in the 7.
Yeah, there's only been like 5 members of the 7 all 3 seasons of The Boys. It seems, or maybe like 6. There's never been 7 members of the 7. That's funny, but I think that's sort of the point.
Yeah.
So Golden Boy, he hugs Polarity dude, and he's like, I love you, which is, I'm like, oh, he's bisexual too. I'm guessing so.
No, it's a brotherly love.
Okay, I'm guessing. But the flamer flies up and
then he
blows himself up.
Yeah.
Yep. And there's the boy in typical boys fashion, blood everywhere, bloodbath over everyone, and no one gets any in their mouth.
He
luckily,
didn't just explode. He makes it rain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Himself.
He could have just like gone over a lake or something. Kind of rude. So, so it's episode 2.
How rude of him to not think about other people while he was killing himself.
Yeah. Episode 2.
I will tell you what.
With them picking him up,
you watch all 3 episodes and you wonder why he killed himself. It doesn't seem earned. Doesn't make a lot of sense. I guess it's like his brother has schizophrenia and Golden Boy took a lot of drugs. And I guess if you had an academic background, you can know that taking a lot of psychedelic drugs like Molly, if you have like a family background in schizophrenia or other like hardcore mental disorders, then like taking psychedelic drugs can like flip the switch on you, like can like drive you, even marijuana in some cases. But like, if you don't know that, then like you don't know why this suicide seems so random.
They just need a shocking event for the end of the episode.
Yeah, I know.
That's probably the logic.
And they saw how good the Invincible worked out, and they were like, "Well, let's just do that."
Violence on violence. So, yeah, we'll talk about the first episode. We'll wrap up the podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gen V.
Gen W.
I mean, if you like The Boys, I think you'll be mildly entertained by this show. A lot of the humor, a lot of like the I guess celebrity culture, the media. The fact the hold social media has over society. I guess this is like made for younger people, although it's like
if you like The Boys and a year and a half out are
American
planning to
Pie
vote for Biden, you'll love Gen V.
I mean, it literally is made for Gen Zers, I think.
100%.
They're going after like the high school and like early college
So
crowd.
so is this basically like that Marvel release last year where they had TikTok girl and
Miss Marvel?
Marvel Comics did a very failed release of a bunch of new superheroes.
The new Warriors. I think.
Oh yeah, TikTok
there was
inclusivity person, safe space.
Safe space. Snowflake.
Yeah.
There was
Snowflake.
There was Trailblazer, who had like a magic backpack. Dora the Explorer.
Low key love this idea. This is such a great. It's like we're gonna take this word back. Everyone says snowflake, negative term. We're just gonna make this a popular term. And I was thinking, like, what if people had that same mindset for like other slurs? I'm not gonna repeat any racial slurs. You guys can have your own fun driving in the car. But like, can you just imagine if like there were like comic book heroes named after slurs because they were taking the word back, like Cracker Man? Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Or like Clerks 2. I'm taking it back. Don't worry. I'm not going to say the word.
Yeah. So yeah, this show really like none of the characters are really like likable or interesting.
They suck, dude. None of these characters are likable.
They're all like drug users or just
Well, what's wrong with drug users? You square pants.
None of them are funny, and they're all depressed.
None of them have a podcast. I would listen to their podcast.
They're all referencing pop culture every 5 seconds. So but yeah, this show isn't really targeted for me. It's targeted for college and high school kids, I'm guessing. Even though it has like a lot of sex and drugs, which there's none of that in college, I'm sure. So
none that I've reported back to my.
So, but yeah, I started episode 2. I'll at least try to finish episode 3. We can talk about it as we're discussing Loki if we want. But Loki's coming out tomorrow. That's probably by far and away the best Marvel TV show. So hopefully season 2 will be.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to.
Well, Short Round's going to be in it. Indiana Jones. So, but yeah, that's our podcast. Do you want to plug our social media, Major? Please. Or don't. Don't worry about it. He's busy. Well, he's got a child to raise.
Yeah.
So,
or I guess it's saying tweet still. I guess
I call them tweets. It's still Twitter. Fuck X. Fuck Elon Musk.
Yeah, because saying post that could be anything.
X on X
podcast.
It really goes to show it really just goes to show how little I use Twitter. The fact that I didn't even know that Twitter was rebranded X until like a few days ago. Actually, I think I learned it today because I was looking at Patrick Schwarzenegger, and I saw his Instagram handle and I saw his X handle, and it said X, formerly Twitter. So it's still shown as like formerly Twitter because I don't think everyone knows it's X now, like me, obviously. So, but so
just heard about it.
Maybe later this week we'll do Loki, and maybe the rest of Gen V that's out. And but yeah, Loki's how many episodes? 6 episodes.
Yeah, I think we're only getting 6 for this season.
Okay, so we got 6 more weeks of content, and Gen V's how many
long episodes?
How many episodes of Gen V are there going to be? Probably 8 because that show's expensive. I imagine. So we got some things to talk about before the year's over. So stay tuned. Thanks for sticking with us for as long as you have, if you have been sticking with us. That's our show. We'll be back pretty soon. I'm Forrest.
Major bailed.
And I'm Robbie.
Matt.
Thanks for listening. Have a good one. Peace.